Hello, I'm Joseph Dillard. Welcome to the second video in our series on the drama triangle. As I stated in our previous introductory video on the drama triangle, you can be victimized without becoming a victim with a capital V. Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychiatrist, wrote a best-selling book called Man's Search for Meaning about how he went about keeping his victimization by the Holocaust from turning him into a victim, a role in the drama triangle. If you are rear-ended in a car accident, you're victimized. You don't become a victim in the drama triangle until or unless you allow yourself to feel helpless, hopeless, and start looking around for people, situations, or deities to blame for your misfortune. Being a victim in the drama triangle is a role because it is a superficial and manipulative persona or identity that we take on to justify who we are and what we do and don't do. While feelings of helplessness, hopelessness, powerless, and depression are not necessarily signs we are in the role of victim, that's the low-hanging fruit to first rule out. The role of victim shows up in relationships when we feel persecuted and abused, but the evidence for actual persecution and abuse is not enough to account for the intensity of our feelings. It also shows up in relationships when people refuse to move out of a position of powerlessness regardless of the circumstances. They may take a trip to Switzerland, win the lottery, meet their soulmate, or have a mystical experience, and still find plenty of reasons to feel unhappy. Another indication of being in the role of victim in relationships is fear of others. This may be a fear of being controlled by others, or of being seen as inferior, or of looking stupid or incompetent. Why do people choose to stay stuck in the role of victim? There are many advantages to staying in drama. These are called secondary gains. Attempts to help people who are professional victims are futile because of the benefits that they receive from maintaining that status. These benefits include the ability to avoid responsibility because, after all, I'm a victim. At least that is how victims see themselves, and if they can get others to agree, they gain leverage in relationships because victims, or those who are victimized, tend to get the benefit of the doubt. I've worked with children who claim parents or grandparents sexually abuse them. Naturally, these children should be regarded as victimized, not as victims, until proven otherwise. And of course, it is quite possible to be victimized and then assume the role of victim, as the state of Israel has used the Holocaust. We get the benefit of the doubt in cases of alleged abuse or exploitation. We get to blame others and avoid responsibility. We get to stay passive and be lazy instead of exerting ourselves to make our lives better and help others. We get to justify our lack of initiative or our going along with the herd, or doing things we know are amoral or immoral in the course of our work because what can you expect? I had no other choice. I'm a victim of my circumstances. Such were the defenses of Nazis at the trials in Nuremberg, Germany. Such are the defenses of corrupt Wall Street traders, bankers, and politicians when they are caught red-handed. As mentioned above, if I play the victim to manipulate you to do what I want, to get what I want, because then I am helpless. I am a victim of circumstances. My boss made me do it. My dog ate my homework. My powerlessness, helplessness, and prior victimization absolves me of any responsibility for the consequences of my actions. It's easy enough to see how the role of victim shows up in relationships, But it is just as obvious and powerful in the realm of our thinking, where it shows up as a series of cognitive distortions. Whenever you think or say, I can't, you are saying to yourself or to others that you are powerless. Now, it is true that in some instances we really are powerless. For instance, I can't lift myself up off the ground. There are many things we commonly tell ourselves, however, that put us into the role of victim in the drama triangle. Many of these are covered in videos in our video curricula on toxic words and on cognitive distortions. Our addictions place us into the role of victim in both relationships and our thinking. Our behavior ends up validating our victim status, again by making can't a mental reality. We can't break our addiction. Perhaps it is codependency or a dependency on a relationship. Perhaps it is addiction to a drug, sugar, social media, porn, sex, or alcohol. But beneath all of these is addiction to the role of victim. You are unlikely to outgrow any of your addictions as long as you remain convinced that you are a victim of them. Our status as victims shows up in our dreams as well. Have you ever gotten scared in a dream? Who or what was scaring you? How was that not you choosing to feel powerless in your own dream? The question might arise, so what? It was just a dream. As we shall see in another video, your dream feelings not only affect your physiology and therefore your health, but create a feeling residue that colors and filters how you feel about yourself, others, and your life during your waking hours. If you spend dream time validating your status as victim, by running away from monsters, feeling threatened, do you think that is going to make you more or less likely to play the victim in your waking life? Perhaps we can begin to see why learning to stay out of the drama in our dreams is so important. Integral deep listening provides a way to do exactly that. What are some strategies for escaping the role of victim in the drama triangle? You can start by learning to differentiate victimization from the role of victim in the drama triangle, understanding that there is real abuse and exploitation in the world, but that does not mean that you have to throw yourself into the role of victim. Another point is that you can identify when you have feelings of helplessness, powerless, passivity, and addiction. Because until you do, how are you going to be aware of them to change them? In addition, you can ask yourself, what am I getting out of having these feelings? What am I losing? What are the benefits worth the losses of feeling powerless, helpless, hopeless? Next, you can identify toxic words, cognitive distortions, and biases that put you in the role of victim and then eliminate them from your thinking and speaking. This is why the video curricula has a whole series on cognitive distortions. You can also start using integral deep listening interviewing to identify when you are in the role of victim in your life issues and also in your dreams. And then follow the recommendations of interviewed characters, called emerging potentials, to move out of drama in your life. Every victim requires a source of persecution. You need to learn to recognize when you're persecuting yourself and stop it. You also need to learn to stop viewing others or life as persecuting yourself. Another tip is to recognize that when you play the role of victim, you are persecuting yourself, and so are in the role of persecutor. Also recognize that when you play the role of victim, you're rescuing yourself, and so are in the role of rescuer. In addition, move from the role of victim into harmony and inner peace in the Socratic triad of harmony, beauty, and wisdom. Also, you can ask yourself and ask your family and friends to ask you, if I were in the drama triangle right now, which role would I most likely be in? Learning to ask this question or have other people ask that of you will wake you up out of drama in that moment. And the final recommendation is to learn to recognize and turn down invitations to play the victim in relationships, in your thoughts, and in your dreams. Clearly, there are a lot of things that you can do to escape the role of victim. You're not powerless. You're not trapped. You're not helpless. Above all, make a plan about what you want to do about being in the role of victim in your life or feeling that way. Set goals about it. Motivate yourself. Be determined and consistent. Why? Because you cannot find happiness or inner peace within the drama triangle because it is phony, fake, superficial, dishonest, and manipulative. It deprives you of intimacy and inner peace in your life. There's no inner peace within the warm embrace of the drama triangle. In the next video in this series, we will discuss the role of persecutor and how it generates the roles of victim and rescuer to justify its own existence and abuse. Thanks for watching. See you next time.